I met a gypsy.
Yeah, and a lot of people would have thought, so we posted that clip, like we had the little bit that we deleted out of the original podcast, which I think was cool, actually. I think the way that all went down, because, well, it was super respectful to KTM, but a lot of people, when we posted that, they were like, oh, I knew it. I knew they were going to Star. You didn't know you were going to Star then. Like, this wasn't a done deal. And I think a lot of people think that we put that clip out because we knew. Like, dude, I didn't know. When you text me and you said, like, oh, we got an announcement Monday, I genuinely didn't know. And I didn't even want to ask. I'm just like, oh, whatever. I'll find out with the rest of everyone. I fucking hate all that when people try and blow people's deals out early. But it was just like, I didn't even know. So it's like, yeah, I made those comments that, like, well, if you want to win, you probably go to Star. But, like, I didn't know. You didn't know. This wasn't a deal that has been done forever that you guys have been sitting on.
No, and that's funny you say that, because the original podcast we did, we talked about, well, what do we do? And we talked through it, and you said, okay, Yamaha's got the best lights bike right now, and the team's winning. Well, you go. That's where you go. And I said, well, there you have it, right? And I was like, oh, I can't say that, because we're not in that situation. That sounds odd, and we really are with KTM, and we want to make that work. And I saw and a lot of media guys are like, yeah, and they'll just keep running. They'll use that as clickbait, and you're cool enough to delete it and so, you know what, let's take that out for now. That's not going to help the situation. It doesn't help Haiden where he's at in his career. That was cool, and I said, well, save that for, save it for if it ever gets brought up again. And I was like, I kind of laughed. I'm like, that's pretty funny that we can actually play that now. And but yeah, we at the end of the day, you can ask Haiden. He went and rode the factory bike. We went down to Alden's, and Alden's is awesome, man. Killer facility. It's like these guys, they produce some of the best champions, and it is awesome, But we went down there and checked it out, and then Haiden rode the factory bike, and I even called KTM. I'm like, let's get Haiden on the bike again, and I was really pushing, let's ride the bike. Yeah. I want to make sure that we're making the right decision, and try to give every opportunity possible to make it work, to be honest. We really did. And out of respect for them and respect for all the time that we spent together, I was like, let's really, really try. And that was something they said. They're like, man, this really got drug out long, this whole ending this negotiation. I said, yeah, because we were really trying to make it work. We're trying to figure it out, And I go, otherwise we would have just said, hey, cool, boom, thanks, later. Yeah, and that's not how it was, So, that's just at the end of the day, it got down to the last minutes on the clock. Really, that's kind of the way it played out.
Yeah, and what's your sense now with KTM? Are you, in your mind, do you feel like it's not going to be cool? Because there's going to be people that are bummed. You can't even sit here and say, oh, no, everything's fine. They're so happy we're on Yamaha. That's not the reality of it. But there's a certain way that you can go about shit that leaves the right taste in people's mouth at the end of it all. So, do you think that there is that, there is a good taste in everybody's mouth as much as there kind of can be in this circumstance?
Well, that's good you asked that. I think Nathan Ramsey probably made it the hardest for us because we were close to him, right?
He's the best guy, dude. He's so underrated.
He's just a nice industry. Dude.
He is so underrated, man. I need to get Nate Dogg on the podcast. People don't understand how good of a human that guy is.
Yeah, and I think Nathan would be a great pro team manager. I feel like he's just that guy. He's been there. He's a factory racer champion. He we had a lot of respect for him, and we obviously still do, and we're just we listened to him. Hayden listened to him, and he was our go-to guy at KTM. He really was, and I feel like the hardest part was telling him that we were going to go a different direction. That was the hardest conversation. I was like, you know what, Hayden, we got to call and talk to Nathan right now and just talk to him. And we did. Hayden and I called him and said, hey, dude, we just want to say you've been awesome. And I'm just apologize. I'm sorry. This is going a different direction. But as of right now, we have to go with way we believe Hayden's going to have his best chance at his age to develop.
Yeah.
And Nathan was cool. I mean, obviously wasn't stoked. He was like, yeah, he's like, all right. He's like, I got to respect your guys' decision.
Yeah.
And so, and then, we brought the bike back because we got that 250F, and Hayden and I brought it back to KTM to say thank you, shake hands. And, and I feel like that's a respectful thing to do. And I think it is, you go shake hands, say thank you, and we appreciate it. Look people in the eye, and that's the way relationships should end. And so there's always respect. Whether there's an open door there or not, that's their decision. It's not mine.
Yeah.
But I feel like we tried to leave there with the most respect possible. And we called Ian. We tried to go to the office and see him, but he wasn't there. And we called him and said, hey man, we just want to say thank you for everything. And he was appreciative. He said, yeah, you're welcome. And we have to respect your decision. And he said, we'll see you at the races. That's kind of just the way. And he's like, you never know, right? He's like, you never know in racing. Things could change, things can come around. I get it. Like, and that was their vibe. And I think their vibe is, you never know what happens in the future, right? It's just the sport of racing. And in this sport, every 2 years, people jump from team to team to team. And so I feel like we left with the best vibe possible, and even though it wasn't probably the best vibe, I think I get it. They weren't stoked. They weren't happy, but I feel like it was respectful.
Man, to have Hayden go and wheel that bike in as well, bro, that's gotta be fucking heavy for a 15-year-old kid to just be like, God damn, I gotta wheel this bitch into the shop and just be like, hey, thanks, but no thanks. Like, that's a good lesson for him to learn, dude.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt like that was important for him to do. I felt like it was important for him to look people in the face, or at least talk to them and say, hey, we appreciate your support, and this is the direction we're going. And as he matures, he's going to have to do that a lot, right?
Yeah.
He's going to have to make hard decisions and stick to them, and make them and move on and progress. That's the way it's got to be.
Yeah, man, that is so true. So yeah, for him to have to go and do that is that's a pretty legit little life experience. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.